Hello everyone, myself Vijeta Singh, and today I'm here to help the researchers in any field of study by providing valuable inputs for writing and publishing research paper in high quality journal. So starting from your field of interest, I'll tackle one of the main questions a scholar has to ask him or herself: how to publish. First of all, I'll introduce you to the academic world and why it's important to publish your work. Secondly, I'll help you understand how to define the importance of your research, in what sense your research is creative and innovative in your field. Next, I'll focus on the research article itself and answer those questions about how to construct an article. What are the rules concerning the abstract and the bibliography? Finally, you have your outline. You know what you write, but then what? Is it enough to just know what and how to write? Not quite. In the final section, I'll address those critical factors. You must not forget, once you finish the writing, what are the main mistakes to avoid? Let me start with introducing the world of publishing and the process within it. Well, the first step in is understanding the entire process is to better understand academia and how publishing is very critical component for a researcher. Why he or she must embrace and support the other researchers and how the process advances the entire scientific age. Most basically, always remember that publishing research is a form of expression and communication. Through that process, the researcher encourages a sense of trust. By putting your ideas together in a resourceful way and publishing the paper, the processes allows you to share your results. Quite simply, it is about participating in your field and communicating your findings. Allowing both you and your peers to be more knowledgeable on your topic. If scientists kept their results in the lab, for instance, there would be no real world progress. Publishing also helps you feel stronger about your work by getting important criticism back from reviewers who are in your field. It enables you to get familiar with other academics working in your topic or similar ones, as well as getting familiar with journals and conferences that might be interesting to you. Furthermore, if you are thinking about continuing your academic life, publishing is extremely important. It's been said that the process of publishing research is very much like currency. The more you become evaluated through your published work, the more valuable your input is considered. Not only in terms of the number of publications and the types of journals, but in your professionalism and effectiveness of presenting your findings. With that in mind, having research published is very important to creating opportunities in the paths in academia. It contributes greatly to determining salaries, academic position, contracts, and grant applications. Now, don't get discouraged or intimidated, especially if you have not published. That is what you can always start working on. One of the good things about research is that there is no one strict way or a one standard way. Indeed, this means that there are many ways to share your work and to get published depending on your domain or field of the study and work. Throughout this presentation, I will get you familiarized with different steps of publishing, from selecting appropriate journals, writing the abstract, making your literature, creating your references, reference base and bibliography. And then you will have a guide to making your personalized checklist based on your journal guidelines. Good luck, and let's get started. Even if by now you are not yet convinced by the importance of spreading your research knowledge by publishing it, take a look at the mentioned link. After reading the links, I'm sure that you will be persuaded that there are many opportunities to apply the results of research. So here I have provided some of the links. If you are interested, you can go through them. They all tell about the importance of research and publishing your work once you are done with that. Now, this slide covers the importance and approach to identifying research communities. Knowing the academic context of your research will help you define the importance of your research. With that in mind, here are some questions for you to consider. Which academic conferences are important for your research? Which academic journals are relevant for your research? What are the important theories and concepts in your research domain?
Excuse me,
Who are
ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Your slide is not seen on the screen.
but I have, okay, let me check once more. I have, but I have enabled the screen sharing option, sir. Let me check once again. Sir, are you able to share the, see the
Yes,
screen?
yes, yes, yes. It is. Now it is. It is visible on the screen.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. This slide will be covering the importance and approach to identifying scientific communities. Basically, which academic conferences are important for your research, which academic journals are relevant for your research, what are the important theories and concepts in your research domain, who are the influential researchers in that academic community. Now, knowing your community process has mainly two goals. First, it's about focusing your work and more precisely defining your research. Secondly, it's about discovering researchers working on your topic. Taking all of this into consideration, there are two aspects connected with your research community. The first is to discover appropriate journals and publish research work related to your field, both generally and specifically. The second aspect is to discover key researchers in your topic. Your goal is to find out who is working on your topic, who might be important for your research domain, and for information in that specific community. Now we are going to talk about how academic journals work. It's important to understand the process academic journals go when considering your work, considering how much it may impact your success. If you understand this process, you improve your chance to avoid a desk reject from the beginning. After submitting your research paper for consideration, you will hopefully receive a response with specific corrections requested from the journal or journals. What's contained in these responses will depend on two primary things. First is the editor-in-chief, and the second, the reviewers who are asked to review your paper. Therefore, when submitting a paper to a journal, you really have to tailor it for the specific academic journal who is receiving it. This is a very important criteria. Primarily, you will do this to ensure that each feature the editors are looking for is included in your research article. To better understand how to make sure you target every important point, let's take a look at what happens when you submit an article. When you submit a research paper to a journal, it will be directed to the chief editor's desk, where it most likely will go in one of the two directions. First, the editor-in-chief can do what's called direct reject on the paper right away. Basically, that means the editor-in-chief decides right away that the paper is not sufficient or appropriate for his or her journal. If that happens, you are back to square one. You have to find another journal to submit the paper to or extensively modify this version if you want to resubmit it. The second option is that the editor-in-chief will send this paper to one of his or her editors for the review. The editor selected will usually be the one with the most links or experience in the academic field in which you have positioned your paper. Why? Because this editor will be the most competent in asking his or her peers to blind review the paper. Keep in mind that since the editor is the one in charge of finding reviewers, it is very important to learn very much about his or her views on your academic field as possible. After all, you all belong to the same research community: researcher, editors, reviewers. With this in mind, there are some important things to keep in mind. First, when submitting a paper to a research or academic journal, it's important that you search and consider the editorial board and its composition. This allows you to consider the kind of research the editors are doing and what is their area of expertise. Now we will continue to examine more about the publication process that most academic journals follow. Most importantly, remember that the key word in the peer review system is peer. What does this mean? When you submit an article to the chief editor of a specific journal, he or she will send it to a team of reviewers. These reviewers are normally experts in your domain. They read a paper trying to improve it and make comments. Once they finish, the final decision is made by the chief editor on how to proceed, taking into account the evaluations of those reviewers. Typically, that means either rejection, which is the game over for that journal, or they agree to publish the paper with modifications. Assuming they have agreed to publish the paper with modifications, it's very important for you to take into consideration those reviewers' comments. Remember that one of the objectives of their reviewing your work is to ensure quality and accuracy of the article. Also keep in mind that the specific details of how this process works varies from journal to journal. And notably, there are several discussable points on the system that leads people to develop a new open way of reviewing. We won't go into too much detail at the point, but main elements to keep in mind are anonymity, acceptance ratio, time scale, and accuracy. Excuse me. Now, these are the additional resources for the researchers about the writing and publication. Now it is good time for us to have a little talk about some important aspects of your writing. Its status as a piece of intellectual property as well as ethical guidelines. What does that even mean? Let's first talk about intellectual property. When you write something in a specific paper, you agree to give full access to all your results to the journal. You retain the basic intellectual property of your article, but you give away the copyright to the editor. It means you have rules you need to follow. Some that are specific to the journal and some that are fundamental and apply to every paper you are going to submit. Don't ever forget that what you write is no longer owned by you. It's owned by the journal and any company that owns it. This is the base of publishing today. Just as there are ownership rights to the work you are submitting, that applies to all the work previously published. This means you cannot copy and paste any of the text from other person or copy an image from any other journal. This is illegal, just as it is illegal to download music without paying the writer's labels. This does not mean you cannot reference other works, but if you do, you must acknowledge the original author or authors. As such, what we call citation is very important. But from a more basic point of view, it is all about copywriting. Publishing is also different from a patent because you will not have a legal right to the printing of the findings, only the actual research. Always keep that in mind. In the same idea, make sure to research to see if there might be a conflict of interest when you publish a paper. As you are probably giving access to the results to the journal, you want to be sure there is no financial or intellectual conflict of interest. If you don't take into account this advice, your article can be retracted from the journal, and more importantly, there could be some prosecution, but don't be scared. It should be easy to avoid this situation since you are now fully aware of that possibility exists. As a suggestion, make sure to check the journal's website regarding the type of paper you want to submit. Check to see if the paper would be considered an open access article or a subscription based article. You might have different rights concerning your work in both of these situations. Let's have a closer look now on the second point, the ethical guidelines an author has to follow when writing an article. First thing to consider about the paper is what's called authorship. Basically, who is considered an author of an article? There is actually no real definition of the subject, but when looking at the guidelines, you will find that most likely the author will basically be listed as only one person. However, others who might possibly be considered authors because of their roles in the creation of the paper could be a result of their input to the design, the analysis, or actual writing of the study. With this in mind, every person with appropriate input should be included in the author name list of the paper. This is really important as researchers only gain credit if they are on the paper. But be careful not to put everyone, especially anyone who did not take a big part in the study. Usually the journal will ask you to uh, who took part in the project and what the work he or she was doing. That will help you guide about this topic. Along with authorship, the next thing to be aware is what, when considering ethical guidelines, is misconducting the paper itself. Here are few examples I have quoted. First one is fraud. Fraud is creating a piece of paper based on fake data or altered data. Some of you might be like amazed that even this possibility can exist, but it do exist. And to our surprise, it even exists in the field as critical as related to the medical sciences. There have been incidences where uh, uh, the researchers later on they came to know that even the whole study which was published is based it was fraud. It never took part, it was never conducted, and it was published. That is complete fraud. The second thing is duplicate, submitting the paper to different journals in the same time, or submitting equivalent findings into separate papers, or even publishing the same results in different journals even if they are using the different language. Citing, failure to cite the work of others relating to journal. This is also one of the misconduct. And the last one about which we are very familiar about is plagiarism, taking the work of others and publishing it in your name. Be aware that editors have access to tools such as plagiarism.org that can detect if what you have written is a plagiarized. Keep in mind that there are also specific ethic guidelines related to specific fields. If you think about biology, one ethical guideline might be research participant must voluntarily consent to the research participation. But here again, just look closely at the guidelines given by the journal you want to publish in. That's the best way to know what they expect from you. So, as a recap to this section of the presentation, we have described the basics of scientific publishing and why the process is important for you, the elements of scientific communities, how to identify them and make connections to build yours, the elements of presenting your work to journals, and the concept of intellectual property and basic ethical guidelines to consider. Now, here are some of the examples of intellectual property. Now, we are going to start the second part of the presentation on submitting an academic research paper. We have covered some of the background issues in the previous section. In this section, we are going to start digging into the paper itself and how you start preparing yourself for that. In the first section, we are going to discuss 3 basic questions you will ask yourself when writing an academic paper. The first one, what is my paper about? As you start to consider topics for your paper, you really have to consider the question, is what I want to write about worth it? To help you figure out, you have to put yourself through what we call the so what test. When you are trying to determine if the topic is worth writing about, what are your personal answers to questions like what will be the contribution of the paper to the field I'm interested in? If I write this paper, how will it change the way academics in my field? What can I bring to the table that hasn't been said before in those terms? And to help you find those answers, you need to make sure and build your own knowledge base with a solid review of current literature. It's vital to know what your contribution may be to your field of interest. So, after you have an idea what your paper might be about, next comes question to how to ensure that my presentation is of interest to others in my field. Just like in the first question, when you ask yourself, so what, this question helps make sure you are passing the so what test for others. This part of writing a paper is as scientific as it is political. Be sure the vocabulary you use and the frame of your proposition is kind with the way of the reviewer understands the issues you are raising. To ensure that, identify colleagues and members of your network that can help you position the paper in the terms you have chosen. As we previously talked about this, in another time when your research community comes into play and why it's important to develop one. Finally, the third question you have to ask yourself is, what kind of paper do you want to write? Academic papers can have different goals, and the design of your paper will be different depending on your goal is a theoretical one or empirical one. As the contributions and the names of these papers are different, so will be the setting of the methodologies and resource questions. Your final product will be impacted by the orientation. The research question is the main question raised in your paper and the one you bring elements to and answer to. For now, remember that the three questions we have just discussed have to be kept in mind when you are building your research question and going through that literature review. They ensure that what you write is still coherent and in line with what you set out to do. To recap, those three questions are: what does my paper about? How do I ensure that my paper presentation passes? So what tests for others and what kind of paper do I want to write? As you go through all of this process, don't forget the goal you are pursuing in developing your paper is twofold. First, you are aiming to build coherent reasoning through the paper. Second, you have to position your paper so that it's accepted by the community of researchers you have chosen to address. So, to conclude, you have to understand your field. You have to know what you can contribute to this field, and you have to know how to communicate your contribution to the academic community. To get you started on that, as I have mentioned briefly a few minutes ago, the next section is going to go more deeply into how to build your own review of literature in your field and your specific domain of study. First, we have to know the objectives of what we call the literature review, especially in academic papers. Literature review is reading, researching, and understanding literature that's already published about your topic and your field when you begin research work. A specific subject interests you, and we call that subject the research question. We discussed elements of developing a research question earlier. The purpose of this research question is basically to expand human understanding on a specific topic. Philosophers have defined the journey of learning to understanding as traveling the frontier which lies between the knowledge and the non-knowledge, a scientific problem, arises only on the frontier between what is known and what is unknown. Therefore, if your specific scientific problem, your research question stands in the space before you get to the frontier, then you are looking for something that's already been found. On the other hand, if you're looking too far, too deep in the same non-knowledgeable part, you might get lost. So, okay, so let's assume you have your research question first. On top of that, never lose sight of the fact that research is always in motion. Theories get proven and others get debunked. You have to take this into account. This fact explains the necessity of a literature review and why that frontier between knowledge and non-knowledge is always moving. Building your review of literature is a way or is a way of you to specify why and how your work is original by moving the knowledge frontier. Your originality may cover several aspects, including leading new empirical work, but it may also be interpretive known ideas in a new way, or by getting new data to old problems. Now, this is the list of books and tools for writing and publishing a research paper. I think they might be helpful. And in the middle section of this slide, there are some, as you begin, it's important to understand that there are some generic building blocks you will find in almost every paper. Those are title, abstract, introduction, literature review, methodology, results discussion, and conclusion. Starting at the beginning, let's remember that there's a title and it's an important element as the first very introduction to your paper. Strive to keep it very simple, clear, short, displaying all the key concepts straight to the point and yet powerful. Following the title, most times there is an abstract which synthesizes the main points of the paper. We will dig into abstract more in the upcoming slides, but realize that the abstract really is probably one of the most important parts of your paper. It shows what you achieved. Think of it as the showcase of your paper it's read. The reader should know exactly what the paper is about and what the author contributed also contributed into it. The reader will find some keywords that will classify your paper and help reference it. Make sure to think hard about the right strategy keywords to include after the title and the abstract. Actual paper begins with an introduction, which should find a balance between saying everything and keeping some mystery about your research that can be a difficult task. The most important point here is to remember that your goal is to identify fast and clearly the research question. It's also very helpful to finish your introduction with a clear outline paragraph. In this paragraph, you will describe exactly what you do in each section of the paper to help accomplish that. The paragraph often begins with a phrase and paper is structured as follows. The next section of the paper usually deals with your literature review. This part is not to be exhaustive, explaining every detail of your review of literature. Instead, your goal is to present just what's needed to get to the research question. You have to show the limits of previous research to justify the necessity of your own work. Remember, we discussed the frontier and the gap in section earlier. That's what we are dealing with here. If you are preparing an empirical paper, the next element might include a methodology section where you basically explain your research design, explaining perhaps whether you are in chemistry management, sociology, etc. Depending on your discipline and the specific journal you are preparing, your paper for this methodology section could also be located at the end of your paper or even in the appendix. So it's very important to know the rules. Keep in mind that this methodology section is where you justify how you proceed with your research. You'll explain why the research is relevant, also why it has to be conducted in a specific way that you have conducted, and so on. In some journals, you might be required to be very thorough in some, and in others, maybe less. So, for instance, if you are doing a case study, you will want to justify why a single case or a multiple case is best, why the field you chose is significant, and how you will derive general principles from it. You have to convince the reader that your measures are valid and reliable, that your methodology was rigorous. That is to say scientific. You will also need to explain how you conducted your data analysis. In other words, you are explaining when and how you use the data. You should aim to be simple and clear as possible about your methodology. Once you have worked through explaining your methodology, you then include the results. Result section where you present your findings. Even if you are presenting a theoretical paper, you need to explain your analysis, what you bring to the table. The core of your paper, once you have presented your results, you will then justify how your work contributes to the literature you have referenced before in the literature review, and a section usually called the discussion. This block of your paper is also extremely important. Basically, this is where you prove the relevance of your work in a few words in the discussion section. You remind the reader of the research question when you summarize the analysis, the results, the findings, and you explain how you are contributing and building up upon the previous literature. You are justifying in what sense you are bringing something new that sheds new light to the previous literature. As a reader grows through your paper, he or she may ask, what are the author's contributions? Sometimes these contributions have implications on research or on practice. Then you should make that explicitly clear. Finally, the last element of your paper is conclusion. What forms the conclusion takes can differ a lot depending on the journal and your specific discipline. Sometimes the conclusion is where you show the limits of your paper or your work and how you are planning to address them in the future research. Sometimes it's just a short summary of your research question and all contributions. It really depends. In any case, the conclusion should be concise and powerful in case it's the only thing people read. Like several other pieces, we will get back to the point in an upcoming slide. The end of your paper will reference your bibliography. Also, some journals will want you to list all the table figures, graphs after the text, or even in a separate file. So remember to read the journal's guidelines carefully and make sure you are familiar with what your specific journal expects. As we have mentioned in several times before, the last thing to be included at the end of your paper or any appendix certificate of a copy editing and those sort of items. Don't wait until the very last minute to write your paper. But let's be serious and talk about the real helpful pieces of advice. First of all, and it's a little paradoxical about while you can rough out only drafts through the paper, while it's understandable that as a researcher, you will most likely put the majority of your efforts and energy into the literature review and methodology, the results, and your contributions. Unfortunately, those other pieces of the introduction and conclusion, the abstracts, are often what most people read first and then reread again, or even worse, they may be the only thing that they will actually read. With that in mind, it's vital you go back to them after the body of the paper is finished, after you finally understand the core now of the paper writing. Here I have included some of the important tips for writing. The first to speak about the introduction part, the first sentence is very important. That first sentence is one of the most important because it is the first thing the people read. So spend some specific time specifically working on this so as to make it very powerful. And to understand the structure of your paper, I have created this outline, or I called it as a framework, that MRCI framework. M for motivation. What is the motivation behind your specific topic? While writing your paper, all this should be very clear in your mind. That is results. What are your findings? What are the findings on which you are focusing your paper? Contributions. C for contributions, how these results contribute to the ongoing research or the previous literature which has already been published. I for implications, what are the implications of your work for the future result? All these things, that MRCI framework, you should always keep in mind while writing your paper. Now, about the literature review, do not put every single piece of information in this section. Write what's significant and highly relevant. Always focus on the purpose. Don't simply list the references, but lead your reader to the research gap. Focus on your research question. Proper outline of literature review is essential. Literature review is not like everything what you know about the topic of your research, what have been cited, what have been done. It is not important to cite everything, but focus on your research question and cite, write only those things about the literature review which are leading the readers to the research gap or the research question on which you are focusing. And most importantly, don't omit the key references. This is a very important thing to remember, that what are the main contributions or the main references or the work which have been done on your research field. Try to include those references in your paper. Show in what way your findings are original and what is unexpected, and what is counterintuitive about it, how they bring new light to the literature. These all things are very important, which can be included in the literature review. Now, these are some of the things or the papers I have included, which might be very interesting to read. Now, coming back to the abstract is the readers might just read this one section. This is very important part of the research paper. Your peers in the scientific community will read the abstract first and decide if the paper is worth their time. It is possible to simply read the abstract and know what of your paper. The abstract length can vary, usually between 100 and 200 words. Adapt to the type of journal you want to publish in. Now, the detailed information on writing a research paper. To go further in how to write a scientific paper, I recommend reading the following article. Now, the final tips to consider before submitting your paper: the content mistake. This is a very important part, and get get people interested by the content of your article. What is the science behind it? But also maintain an internal coherence. Answer the following questions: do you pass the SWOT test? Does the problematic may remain the same throughout the paper? This means that the research question on which you are focusing is not changing in the abstract, in the introduction, and in the conclusion and discussion. There should be a coherent, they should be they all should be telling a complete story. The keywords should be appropriate. One is the content of your research coherent with the aims and scopes of the journal you are targeting. Now, people who are going to read your article are especially chief editor, specialized editor, anonymous reviewers, and your community of the researchers. So they are the expert in their field of domain, and they can you should avoid the mistakes. Is the so what of your article clear? Is the reasoning understandable? Do we need more data or calculations to say that? Is everything coherent? Also check that your article is not boring. It is very important to get the peers interested. How you can actually do it, there is again one link I have included here. The cover letter, not only when you send the paper for publication, you should send the cover letter as well. Cover letter is a letter describing what you did. It should be maximum one length, and many times it include as the abstract along with the cover letter. Now the reviewing process, letters to the reviewers to answer the comments. If you, I mean, if they decide that there is some minor or major revisions needed, then the reviewers send the list of comments which you need to answer. So always be respectful towards the reviewers and mindful of their opinion, recommendation, and critiques, because they are there for the improvement of your paper. Critiques are very important. Now, I'll say, if English is not your native language, it's always good to use a professional copy editor. And the mistakes you should avoid for the desk rejection of your paper is improper language, spelling mistakes. This is a big no. Typos, I mean, typing mistakes. Make sure everything is crystal clear. No long sentences should be included. Always write in an active voice for English papers. There's no need for complicated words. Make it simple and straight to the point. Try to find proofreading buddies, some friends who might read your paper and to whom you can return the favor. Because most of the time it happens when we have completed writing, we find that there is no mistake. I mean, to ourselves, it seems perfect. But in the same piece of writing, others can find mistakes. So it is very important that even you can return the favor to the friends and ask them to read and find out the mistakes before you submit it to the journal. Now, don't forget to take this time. If that English, I will all it is not your native language, you can use the professional copy editor, but wait to do it until the final version of your paper is available. This service of language editing is very costly. Also, if you have got submission deadline, don't forget to take this time factor into account. Next, there are some common format oversights, like forgetting the paper pagination, page number. Doing so is something that really frustrates the reviewers, since it prevents them from referring to the specific page when they make their comments. Also, watch out for improper bibliographical styles. Once again, make sure you know the right rules for the journal you are targeting, and always make sure you are respecting their quoting style. You can often download a template or writing tools uh, uh, from the journal website. This will also let you know things like their word limit as well as guidelines you have to comply with regarding paragraphs, font size, etc. Another very important point to consider is you actually build the project to ensure that you have got adequate organization of your paper. Make sure you have clear sections and subsections as well as short introduction, paragraph, or conclusion. This helps clarify the argumentation and makes it easier for the reader to follow. Verify that the titles of sections of figures and tables of the paper itself are correct. Ensure they correspond exactly to what you have shown in the paragraph, in the table, and in the figure, and as well as in the paper itself. And finally, if you have specific form requirements in your discipline, make sure you comply with those also. And with that, I'd like to thank you all the organizers and for especially Dr. Arun Singh for inviting me here to present my views on the specific topic. And if you have any question relating to the topic which I have already discussed, you are feel free to ask me, or you can also email me on the email ID given. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam. I think this was a major problem before our researchers, that how to write a research paper, and so thoroughly, right from A to Z. I think no dimension of research paper writing you have left. And if the researchers, if they would have listened you completely, at least I am very much sure that this hesitation and this fear that how to write a paper might have gone from them. Your lecture was really so elaborate, and I think you have done it very clearly, and it must be very helpful for the researchers. Here is one question, ma'am, that is from Samreen.
Yes.
Can we share authors' references in our research paper in the original form?
No, that is called plagiarism. In some in, for example, if there are some particular definition, or there are different examples where you can share, and otherwise no, you cannot share like as it is written. For example, if I have written my views presenting something, you cannot exactly quote those lines and give my name in reference. That is a big no. But there are certain definitions which appear in the paper exactly. You have to write exactly the same way as they have been. I mean, for example, there is a particular definition in the scientific or some other domain, then you can write that in quote, as well as you can quote the name of the author. That you can do, but not exactly quoting the same lines from one paper and writing in your paper and citing it the author's name. That is not done. That is called plagiarism.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you for sparing time for us. Our institute is
one more question, sir.
Thankful to you. Yes.
One more question, sir. Thank you, Dr. Vijeta ji, for honoring our invitation and delivering such a valuable talk for our participants. You explained all the aspects of writing a good research paper and finding an appropriate journal for its publication. We all got benefited by this wonderful talk, and I'm especially thankful that you, on our invitation, prepared an aspect for coverage in our workshop, which was not covered so far. Actually, all the aspects have been covered in this research approaches and digital tool learning workshop by different resource persons, but this last aspect was not actually covered, and that you covered in such an elaborate and wonderful manner. It was very interesting. For the benefit of our participants, I want to ask a question about review papers. Actually, is the structure of review paper same, or approach is somehow different for writing a review paper on any discipline? So I want you to throw some light on writing of a good review paper.
Sir, especially for writing a review paper, which here comes literature review. What has been done in that particular field of domain earlier, and especially the current findings. In research paper, what happens, we are publishing what our findings are, and we are proving our findings with the help of our results and analysis, and we show that this has been done with by such an author, and we are our research domain or our research is leading to this thing. But in the review paper, what happens, the framework of a review paper is mainly focused on the literature review. That is the main thing. So yeah, the framework is different. I mean, the way of writing, the style is in research paper as well as a review paper is different.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sparing time for us. Our entire institute is highly indebted to you. And I think your lecture definitely would have been very fruitful for our participants. Thanks once again, madam.